out.
Yeah. She thawed out, I
How
guess.
long is she gonna take to thaw out? Like, imagine how frozen was she? I don't know, but like, how's your heart even gonna put?
I know.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's
but
better
anyway,
than because at that point you start to decay if you're not frozen. And then you just start to smell. It's like you wouldn't want to be
yeah,
brought back at
well,
that point.
I say we talking about the Frankenstein effect, right? It's like, who knows why? Oh, the zombies. I mean, blah,
Oh
blah,
my
blah.
God, for real.
Yeah. So, yeah, but I mean, it'd be interesting as I find interviews with these two ladies that were dead for 6 and 7 hours. What was that like?
That is, yeah, I mean,
I mean, whoa. Did you have any, because if you get, the people have been dead for several minutes, but, it felt like hours and things like that. So, speaking of which, I'm telling you, I wanted to hit this with you because I figured you might know this person
okay.
because it's from this woman is the Democratic City Councilwoman from San Diego.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So I want to share this with you. I'm going to bring this story up, and I'm sure you might know of her, and maybe you could give us some background on this because you know. And then I want to, if I'm going to try to find that I'm forever blowing bubble story that's coming from your.
Oh, I know. It's so okay. Right.
It seems like every week there's something coming out of San Diego. Oh, and I met two groups of people from San Diego this weekend. One was very active in poly. He's an activist there. We're very active in it. So I told them to look you up. So
Yeah.
hopefully they do because they were, you know, and another young man, a Hispanic, I believe. Yeah. And he also, was looking to connect with like-minded people. So it seems like I'm always running into people from San Diego out there on the streets, and I'm hoping they do contact you so
I
you can
know.
get some more soldiers over there, you know. But I want to go ahead and point this out to you. Do you know this woman?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Andrea Cardenas and her brother. Yeah. They were taking the COVID money, the PPP loans, and basically, spending it on things that their own stuff, saying that they had so many employees. And it's interesting because now she's just, has to pay back money, but didn't get any kind of sentence other than that. So, I mean, they should be in jail.
Is she still a council? Is she still on the council?
No.
Oh, so that she did lose her job then.
Well, or she's been, um, like, I don't know that I believe she stepped down.
Oh, okay. Oh, whippy. Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, who knows? I guess maybe she could still, I mean, I don't, at
Well,
that
it
point,
says
I don't
here
think
that she avoided jail,
yeah,
right?
or
Defrauded the
defrauding.
government out of $200,000. So I assume she has to pay that back.
Yeah, that's what so it says in even the 176 for so that's the PPP loans that they took, and they were spending it on like American Express stuff and different things.
Oh, Lord.
And so it's like, it's just funny to see you know, I mean, it's been a long time coming. Like they were, yeah, so she's not on the council anymore. So I think it's just saying, oh yeah, it's former. That's what I was gonna say. I'm like, she shouldn't be, but it was saying councilwoman. So I was like,
Yeah.
how could she still be on there? Yeah, no, but she's not. And I mean, because you can't keep your job and um do that, but it's her and her brother. And like there it says claiming they had employed 34 people. So they didn't even have employees, but they're just like, oh, we gotta get, you know, the paycheck protection program loan so that we can pay our employees. It's funny to see like what people do when they have a little bit of power and um you know
Oh, yeah. Well, the whole system, I mean, that's why the whole system's insane because, I mean, the prime fact evidence is that you'll see people go into politics and they come out millionaires. They
Yeah.
go in as right, not an owner doing it. I mean,
They're like, I'm just
AOC's a good,
lucky.
yeah, AOC's a good. She was a bartender. Now, the last I checked, she's worth $13 million. So she went from being a bartender. I remember the stories when she first moved to uh, Washington, D.C., to go. She was complaining about the high rents and not being able to afford them. Now she's worth $13 million.
Right. Got no problems there. It's because people throw money at them. And that's why they're controlled, is because, they do the bidding of the people that are, paying them off, basically.
Yeah.
That's why it's so corrupted.
I mean, I'm about halfway through the book right now of Michael Francisi's Mafia Democracy.
Mhm.
And it's kind of like a primer to the One Nation Under Blackmail. This is a lot easier to read, but it basically goes and it qualifies what you just said. It's all a payoff scheme.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Everything's done through lobbyists.
that's right. Well, and they have ties to the cannabis, and having all the shops and stuff like that. So a lot of these, council members or people in, faux power, like these servants, are that, like, making sure there's more and more of them, because then they can get kickbacks from it. You know what I mean? It's always kind of a pay to play. Like, you want this? Well, I'll do that for you. And there's tons of them in Chula Vista, but they're all over San Diego as well. And, people will try and fight against it, but they, just more encourage it, because if they have something to gain from bringing forward all of these, shops and places for people to sell and buy it, they're going to do it. And so whatever, and that goes across the board to anything, really, anything that they're doing. And, but you can see it, like, when you see them really pushing something and really defending it, then it's like, you know why they're doing it. They're not just doing it from the kindness of their heart, whatever. Because if there's, and I guess the mayor in Chula Vista, John McCann, got $10,000 for his election reception. And it was from the cannabis company that the Cardenas were, engaging with. So it's just interesting to see where, who pays them, where they get their money, and then, what they do for that money. And they'll always, like, talk about their stakeholders and, like, all this kind of stuff. And, it should be the people, there should be transparency with all of it. But unfortunately, it's like a lot of this stuff winds up coming out later. And, just being exposed, as opposed to, like, hey, this is what we're going to do, but they can't do it because they just want to, engage in the corruption. So it's just sad to see how many, I mean, if people really paid attention to their local officials and, were really privy to what they were doing, I think that they would be shocked at who's running stuff, and even to see, like, why they push certain projects, like, why are you pushing this project so hard when none of it makes sense? You wouldn't be doing that with another one. Well, how much money are you getting paid to push this? Who are your friends that you're going to fill their pockets with money? Like, even with just the city of San Diego and the shelters that they want to create. It's like 1,000-bed shelter for $1 billion. Like, it's going to cost over $1 billion, but that's like $1 million a bed, not even like an actual room or whatever. So, I mean, if you're looking at that, you'd be like, well, why would you do that? You know what I mean? Wouldn't you want to spend the money? But they just put, like, this is going to be so great, even though they don't even know if the building is going to be able to, hold these people, if there's going to be needing to be more construction, but they're willing to get into, like, 30-year contracts to have the property, be responsible for its upkeep, even though, like, they just do things that you would go, well, that's not a smart business decision. Yet they do it anyway. And they sit there and they act like this is so great, it's going to help all these people. I'm like, no, you're just virtue signaling and using the people that are suffering to pretend that you're going to do something good so it looks good for you. But in reality, you're screwing these people over. And it couldn't be more sad because like we should be helping the homeless, not going, yeah, we're going to spend $1 billion. Like you're going to get $1 million bed. I mean, I'm sure they would rather go, can I have that $1 million? Like, and then seeing these illegals potentially getting $150,000 for a loan for a home. It's like, who ain't none of us getting that? You know what I mean? But I mean, they need it. It's like, we really got to help them out. What?
So you mean like the Bridge to Nowhere project?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. The bridge to home. Okay.
Yeah, right.
Which
Yeah,
home?
that's really causing us. Well, I was mentioning earlier, when I'm out there in the streets talking to people now, especially from the blue cities and states, the number one complaint I'm hearing about is the money going to the illegals.
Yeah.
That's the biggest complaint right now. That's why I think the left is hemorrhaging right now, voters, especially people, Black and Latino voters that are came over legally or illegally, because they're, seeing all this money that should be going to them to improve their lives, and it's not.
Yeah. I mean, but it should be going to the people that have always been here. We're like second in line, if not 50th, you know what I mean? But and these people know it. Like they're stoked that they are our replacements. I mean, how cool is that to go to a country, you're like, oh my gosh, we totally invaded it, like did it illegally. I have a court date and stuff. And now look at all this stuff I got. I mean, I could stay in a 5-star hotel. It's not like the meals are that great, but like could be better than what they would get normally. But 3 meals a day, you get a ride on like a charter bus, you get free plane tickets, you get cash assistance. I mean, shoot, if I wanted to get a sex change, I could. What? For free? Oh my gosh. And then I just get health care for free. Oh my gosh. And then I can have my kids go to the school where, other kids want to go, but maybe they can't. Whatever. I mean, did you see there's the school bus that picked up? I mean, it was a kid's bus, kid's school bus that some illegals tried to hijack 2 of them yesterday in Dulzura, which is like right where they cross. And it's like, interesting. So when is this going to matter when they actually do kidnap those children and something happens? I mean, what was their plan with the kids? Like, were you going to be like, get off the bus? I mean, what? But that's all to evade. And it's like kind of stupid to try and take a school bus. Like, if you think about it, I mean, really, you might, that's kind of dumb. And it's like, you're going to be seen very easily. They're going to track it. I mean, you might as well, but hey, it's a bus. So they're thinking like, no big deal. It's just, we're just going to get on the bus. Well, maybe they'll go to school with the kids. Who knows?
We're seeing crimes being committed right now by illegals.
We have been.
Specifically, that are so every day, so outrageous. I mean, just what was it last week or a few days ago? Maybe not entirely week. There was a group of illegals that attacked the Air Force Base in Texas. They had a big shootout. I mean, it was a shootout.
Yeah, and they're not even like, there's like, that's no big deal.
But it's like, right.
But if it was Americans, they would be blasting that stuff. Like, we're going to go after them if but now there's like, no, it's all right. I mean, they just probably had a question, and they just need.
But I am very, 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 very happy to see out there that there is at least one thing you're doing out there in San Diego. You're stopping the liquid littering of
yes,
blowing bubbles.
Yeah, I mean, because it is so dangerous. Really glad that that's happening. I'm concerned about flatulence. I think I might be arrested.
That might be next. They're going to issue corks to shove up your ass.
I know.
It's
dangerous. You're littering. You're polluting. So imagine like a kid. You're like,
global warming.
Like, this guy's a bubbleologist. Like he does bubbles there all the time, and all of a sudden, it's just like coming after the people for yoga. Oh, you can't do this.
I mean, and I actually watched this video about a half dozen times just because of the joy of the kids. I mean, just watching the kids here. But let's play this. Yeah. For the people that don't know, they cited this gentleman for liquid loitering. Now, if you read the comments are hilarious. They says, well, can we see the evidence of this liquid littering, please?
No, you can't.
Right. But
you got a picture of it.
But I mean, how far away do you have to be from reality to try to stop this man from giving joy to the children? This is
Right.
just, you gotta,
And imagine if he was arrested in front of the children. It's like, wow,
oh,
you're going
yeah.
to torment, like, they're going to be affected. They're not ever going to want to deal with Bubbles. They're going to be like, oh my gosh, I'm going to arrest him.
There is a video. I think it was, where was it? It's in an American beach. I don't know. I might be out there in California, but I think it's on the East Coast. I can't remember where. Uh, but the cops slammed this surfer to the ground because he didn't have a beach badge on him.
Beach badge?
Yeah, to be on the beach,
What's a
you had
beach
to have a
badge?
badge, right?
What?
And he had it in his backpack. And he says, I got him back. But it was like a half dozen cops for this guy that, he was surfing. I guess I don't know what the hell you have to have a license to.
I'd have never heard of a beach badge. Like, what the heck is that?
Yeah, well, I guess if it's a city, I don't know, a city permit to get on the beach or whatever. Again, it's just we're living in a very tyrannical government right now. So I'll try and look up the story after we play this and see if we can, but yeah. You ever seen this guy? Do you know who he is?
I've seen him out, but I haven't.
Outside the rope area, please. Actually, just don't let the bubble touch you.
Yeah, that's good.
As the bubbles do attack.
Ready, and go!
Man, one gotcha.
Come on, guys. Come on,
Or one behind you, right above you.
Incidentally, ladies and gentlemen, there's just glycerin and water. Everything I use here is homemade, food grade, and non-toxic, and gluten-free. As the bubble gets bigger, all right, listen up. As the bubble gets bigger, I need your help. Everybody goes, oh, you're doing it anyway. And when it pops, what do? That's right. It's universal. Over all the countries that I've cycled through, doing what you're seeing me do here today, Indonesia, Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, Philippines, everyone seems to know the same magic word and say the same aw. All right, everybody ready? Yeah. Here we go. Ready and go. Okay. Now we try not to pop the bubble dragons because we want to see how big it gets. Paint the sky with floating rainbows or daytime fireworks.
Really.
It's the perfect spot where he's at too, because there's like it's windy there from the coast, so it's just like it'll really to make those bubbles real big. That's sad because it's like those kids enjoy it so much and feel like they're just trying. I don't feel like they are like demonizing all of the things that are like the fun part of life for kids, like what happens when they're like, oh, we can't do that anymore? Like, why? What's, make it make sense. Like, everything that they're doing it's none of it makes sense. And you can't in your right mind go like, yeah, that makes sense. Cause like, it's like liquid littering. I mean, well, where did it go?
Look, yeah, but you can pee on the streets there. You can pee on
Yeah.
the sidewalks.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
okay.
Right. That's not liquid littering or anything,
No.
or defecation. They're like, no, that's fine. Yeah, it's okay. But like if a kid is going to, I mean, that's why even they were coming after permits and like if you have a lemonade stand, you need to get a permit. It's like, oh my gosh, so kids can't just go like on the street and sell lemon. Like what is happening? All because you want to be in the pockets of these people to be like, I need some money if you're going to do that. It's just like they're everything that, is fun. Like they're taking the fun out of life. Like you can't do yoga here. You need a permit.
Well, wait. The Kamala campaign is all about joy.
Yeah.
It's she's a joyful warrior.
Oh my gosh.
And all they do is steal the joy out of everything.
Yes, they suck it out. There's like succubus is like, we're gonna just like, you're just gonna hate life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's why I tell them it's like, hey, if we're in 15-minute cities, make it fun. Like if you want to enslave us, make it fun. But instead, they just want to make it really horrible. I mean, but bubbles, like that's what's so funny. Like right when you had sent that to me, I saw it and I had a little meme that were like one of my little caricatures or avatars or whatever, and it had like a little fart. And I was like, see, is that what's going to happen next? I mean, for real, like, is that because you can't see that either? I mean, this is liquid, that would be air or whatever, but same idea. It's like all the things that don't make sense. I mean, what about, okay, if you're going to tell him that he's littering, how about all the illegals that are dropping off all their documents, their clothes, their water bottles, condoms, whatever it is, like shoot but that's okay. No, that's all right. They couldn't carry it any longer. No, they're being told to drop it. And then it just piles up. And it's like, but nothing happens there. But then you want to come to a man that is like providing entertainment to children and they love it to be like, you're littering. So, oh yeah. Oh my gosh. I mean, everything is this is an inverted world. It's very.
Yeah, I imagine it, and that's the comment says, well, if he was out there dressed as a woman and, scantily clad.
Oh, yeah, they would probably be like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Especially in front of kids, like,
Yeah, especially in front of kids, yes.
Like doing some kind of acrobats, like spread eagle, like, just. Yeah. Oh, no, that's okay. We like to sexualize children.
Yeah, flashing them, that's okay.
Yeah. I mean,
schooling them on sex change,
Yeah.
Maybe little boys and girls aren't little boys and girls. Maybe you're,
Yeah. They were like at the board of supervisors, they were talking about banning books and stuff like that. And nobody's banning books in San Diego, but they should be banning those sexualized books. But you bring that up and they're just like, this isn't what this is about. It's like, shouldn't we be protecting children? Because they were wanting to, in another item, protect the kids from social media and the effects of that and their mental health and whatnot. And it's like, but you don't want to protect them from these books that are sexualizing them, and it's like this. I mean, I brought up Alfred Kinsey, who was, doing all these experiments on the like infants, seeing how many orgasms they can have in like 24 hours and like writing sexually explicit books for kids for sexual education, which has totally changed. Like, I mean, imagine what they teach in sex ed. Like if they're trying to have it be like, everybody can, okay, beach badge. What is a beach badge?
Surfer arrested in Belmar.
What is a
not
beach?
displaying beach badge. And look at these cops. I mean, there's like just 4 in this picture.
In New
alone.
Jersey, that's.
Yeah.
What?
Officer, 28-year-old surfer allegedly failing to display his required beach badge.
Yeah, I don't understand that.
All right. The unusual incident occurred on Wednesday at Belmar Beach, and a popular New Jersey surf spot that was captured on video before being shared by the witnesses, blah, blah, blah. Offers question him about his beach badge, a pass required to access
during certain
beaches during certain hours.
That is very weird.
I mean, really.
You got to pay to go to the beach. They're like, it's going to cost you a lot of money if you got to come during 10 to 2.
Now, the my question comes up is, all right, is this a private beach? Is it a public beach? If it's a public beach, then I would think that the constitutionality of right to travel, it comes into play here.
Yeah,
where,
and even access
you know,
the beach. But like, look at the thing below. It says Mahoney and a woman at the scene insisted that the badge was attached to his beach bag,
Right.
though it was not displayed on his wetsuit.
right.
And it's like, wow. But like to take him down like that, I mean, that
Yeah.
is,
But they got a video here. Wait.
yeah, let's see that.
Yeah, right. I mean, wow.
Why are you arresting him? Shut up. No. Why are you guys arresting him? Badge is right here. I'm calling Go get my phone.
I have my badge right here.
What do you gotta get 10 more cops and another cop car to do what? Dude, this badge is right here.
Yeah, you guys tear this. This guy's.
Jeez. Oh my God.
Stop! Stop! Don't touch me! Stop! What are you doing? Stop! What is Stop!
Like that's
You guys are
Yeah. Please, you are.
Badge.
Why would you shoot him? Because he doesn't have a badge. He's right here.
No, I have a badge. I'm bro.
Why are you doing this? Why are
Hey,
you doing
stop.
Get off of him! Larry! Get back up! Stop! You're staring at me, child!
Yeah, all in video.
Look what you're doing to the beach! We all live here! What do we do? Why is that? Come on, let's go.
I just wonder why people want them defunded. It's because of crap like
mean-
this, where that man, and he's even like, and it says he was charged with disorderly conduct,
Right.
resisting arrest, and obstruction of justice. Because you can't do anything about him not having a badge. You're going to charge him and like get him into a place where they're going to say he's resisting because he's like wondering what the heck. So he's just supposed to lay on the ground and be like, okay, no problem. These people wear costumes. That's what pisses me off, is that it's like they think they have all this authority when the people do. It's like, we're paying your paycheck for you to come after the people like that. And it's frustrating because it's like, sure, there's some good officers, but most of them have sold their soul to this world and are willing to go after the people for the most outrageous, asinine crap. And all because they have a badge and they think that they're like, it gives them some kind of like heightened like authority, and it doesn't. Man, it's like they wonder why, if people come after them, like why it happens. Like, that's the thing. I mean, that really pisses me off.
No, here's some information. Enforcement of the beach badge requirements, a practice dating back to 1930s in New Jersey, has long been a contentious issue. Yeah, because if it's a public beach, you don't need permission from the government to go there.
$12 a day to access the beach.
Critics argue the system, which charges $12 a day for beach access,
That is BS. They don't own the beach.
is
do you know what I mean?
outdated and fairly penalizes individuals for minor oversights.
To enter from 9 to 5,
Yeah.
you need a badge to go to the beach from 9 to 5.
Yeah.
Like, this is the kind of crap, like, that
Yeah.
why would anybody put up with that? Like, that should have been something that the people were like, we're not going to do that.
Yeah.
But everybody just doesn't. They just like,
There ought to
nobody
be,
pays attention
there
to
ought to
their-
be several 100,000 people on that beach right now just going, screw you and your $12
Yeah.
and your beach badge.
That's what I mean. I would like have everybody just show up there and go like, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Like it's because we allow them to do this kind of BS that it continues and perpetuates. It's like they're afraid of the people. That's why they have to do stuff like this. And it's like, okay, well, when you're outnumbered, you can't do that. And the people should have consented to this kind of crap, which maybe some of them did at some point back in the 30s or however, whatever. But I mean, come on. You know what I mean? Like the things like this go on because the people do nothing about it, because they sit there and they just allow it and they acquiesce to it and think like, well, we don't have any, we can't do it. Yeah, you can't. You just got to say no, but we need to be joining together and say, it's just like the COVID stuff, like not wearing a mask and going into the store, like, you know, and doing it with more people. It's like, that's why we need to have each other's backs and support each other so that we can do this kind of stuff, because they're afraid of us. They know that when we exercise our authority, that it hinders their ability to do what they want to do, which is have total control of the people. So it's like, are we going to acquiesce to that and allow them to have total control over us? Or are we going to go like, not today, Satan, and put an end to it? And it's like, we can, people just choose not to. Oh, it's too hard. No, it isn't. It actually isn't. It's a lot easier than you think. And it's a lot harder when we don't, because then this kind of crap happens. Oh, I'm going to, you know, ticket you for blowing bubbles. I mean, next is going to be like, if you sneeze, I mean, or something, you know. It is really frustrating that this kind of stuff continues.
You know firsthand about police brutality,
Yeah.
or an excessive use of force, as all of us that have ever been have been active against the tyranny that we see.
Yeah.
One time or another. And you're right, there are some good police out there, but when push comes to shove,
no, they all do the bidding of the, you know.
Yeah, it's like when a good example is, you see, I'm one of those guys. I'm going to be the first one. Like, if the cops show up, I go up and talk to them. I say, "Look,
Yeah, me too.
Let me tell you what's going on here, and what's your beef, and what are you doing here, and why can't blah blah blah."
Right.
But one of the good examples of this is when the Occupy. Remember the Occupy Park thing was going on. And it was Occupy Wall Street or something. This is back, maybe 6 years ago, 5-6 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And right across from the city hall here, they had, a large group of people occupied the park right across from City Park, right? And they put up tents, everything. We're staying. And so obviously the cops came out, and I went up to the cops, and the first thing the cops are telling me is like, "Oh, we're on your side. Yeah, we're with you on this one. Yeah, you're right. Those banksters, yeah, right. Yeah, Wall Street grew. Yeah, right. We're with you on this one." I said, "Yeah, you're with us until they tell you to clear us out."
That's right.
Now,
and then you do what you have to
tell us to clear. When they tell you to clear us out, are you going to stand with us then? Because
Right.
that's when we're going to need you.
It's like, no.
Yeah.
No. And that's what's sad is like nobody's,
and I
like,
didn't get, and you could see them get uncomfortable when I'm asking them those questions, right? It's like, yeah, you're with us now. Okay.
but in
we
reality,
need you
you
when
won't
they
be.
tell you to go against us. That's when we need you to say no.
Right.
With these people.
Well, I got to do my job. I'm just doing my job. And this is, like, it's like the sergeant at the board of supervisors. And it's like, you should be going after them. No, I'm just doing my job. And, the rules constantly are changing. And so, like, this is how it is. And just all these excuses. And I'm like, dude, for real? Like, do you seriously feel good about what you're doing? Like, if anybody asked me to go, I'd be like, I am not going to arrest them for not having a beach badge. Okay, sure. I mean, it's like no common sense. I don't know. Like, and they can't even imagine, like, I don't know. They just live in like a reality that is so fake, like that. Yeah, no, that makes sense. Like, let's go arrest him. Like, yeah, let's ticket him for blowing bubbles. And then, if he doesn't pay that ticket, we're going to have to arrest him and then put him in jail. But like, I know that guy just murdered someone, but it's cool. He meant well. He meant well. Like it is. I mean, even like, so now pedophiles, like it was like, if you sell a child for sex, it's like SB 1414. Then you just only get 2 days in jail. It's not a big deal. You know what I mean? Or if you buy it, like if you buy a child, it's just 2 days. I mean, and they'll probably be like, no, but I mean, they meant well again, they were just, showing the child a good time. It's like pedophilia is like totally cool now. It's like, they're just like, what? Yes, it's normal for adults to want to have sex with children. Where have you been? I mean, what's wrong with that? They just are loving them. I mean, what? Like you can see whose world we live in. No doubt. It is very clear.
Right.
I mean,
I knew that would get you started.
I know, sorry. Oh my gosh. I mean, for real though, it's like,
Yeah, well, we run up against real tyranny. I mean, what else are you going to do? It's either fight or flight. You're a fighter,
Like, it's bad though, because like I wanted to, like, while I'm watching that, I'm like, I want to go like pull those officers. I don't know.
Yeah. Well,
I want
I was when I was looking at it, I'm going, the sand, which there was plenty of around there, in the eyes does wonders.
Yeah. Right.
If you're in a fight and you're getting any sand near there, the first thing you do,
whatever you got to do.
Eyes. I would have been busy just throwing sand and all those, blind those bastards.
For real.
Yeah. And then,
I mean, you're already being arrested and charged with all this crap anyway.
Well, they can't find you if they're blind.
I know. Well, yeah. I mean, but they just sent.
You throw sand in their eyes, and you got a good 30 seconds of just hauling ass there, before they can come at you. If not
like,
more.
I mean,
But that'll buy you 30 seconds if you throw sand in someone's eyes. So that's
it's not good. I was thinking of
that's what I was thinking. Well, hey, here,
because it's like, I mean, again, we've allowed this to be the case, like that. They should not be able to manhandle anybody like that, yet they do on a constant basis.
For something that is minor, shouldn't even be an infraction.
Right. Well, and that's the thing. They don't have a charge for not having your badge. Just like they don't have a charge for you not wearing a mask. So they're going to go about it in a different way.
And all that's the thing is that, all those charges, are going to be dropped.
They better be.
Oh, well, there will be, because there's nothing there. I mean, resisting
There's a whole water,
arrest. Come on, give me a break.
But who knows? They may want to make an example out of
resisting for, and then like you just brought up, resisting for arrest for what?
Yeah.
What was the infraction you were originally arresting for? If there's no, what's the code for not having a badge? I mean,
right.
And
like you can't give a warning, like you just see him without, even though he hasn't.
Yeah, but the victory for them, it's the ride. In other words, you have to go through the process of. So you spend money possibly getting a lawyer, you have to show up, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
So, they get you that way. It's the lawfare of the event.
Right.
So, or maybe they can even plead him down, say, well, we can go, they'll use the lawfare and say, well, plead guilty to this, we'll drop the rest. Screw you. Screw you and the horse you rode in. I'm suing you.
Meanwhile, we have like crimes against humanity going on a massive scale. And there's like, well, that's not my jurisdiction.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like one of the stories I was talking about earlier, get up, is that in Aurora, Colorado, these illegal immigrants have taken over an entire apartment complex.
I know.
Armed with, right.
Because they went all to all the gun stores. Yeah.
Yeah. And,
but that's normal. I mean,
yeah. Where were the cops?
Oh, no, they were busy citing people for bubbles. I mean, that was here, but still. Like, they're like, well, we can't do anything about that. I mean, they, in the sanctuaries, and they probably call it something else, but here it's the Truth Act. They can't hold their immigration status against them. But it's like, but anybody else that would be doing that, even if they we're not, like, you would not allow that. But somehow, this is okay. It's like, they just kind of explain away or just don't even look at it as a crime if they're an illegal. No. Oh my gosh. They just needed to have sex. I know it was a child, but that's all right. I mean, come on. Is it really that big of a deal? We don't even have room for them in the jail. So we'll just kind of release them without bail. And maybe we'll charge them, but probably not because, I mean, come on. They're just having, we got to protect them. Got to protect them and make sure that they're all right. This is such an upside down world.
It's an evil place we're living in right now. And, you sometimes wonder, well, has it always been this evil, or is it just now because of the availability to report it? Everybody's
right
now because of a cell phone. Are we just seeing it more now? Has this always been there, or is it?
I mean, I think it's always been, and maybe it's more magnified now. But sometimes I think when you like, it's harder to see. I don't know. Oh man. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That is so disgusting. Like,
And again, he was a cop. And what's
right.
about this is, it's these guys that we're going to need when the old crap always hits the fan the most.
But we're not going to have them. That's the thing. We can't rely on them. We can't go, oh, we need, like, no, we don't actually need you guys.
Yeah.
Don't.
Yeah.
And you maybe that we're going against you guys. I don't know. But if you're going to do the things that you're doing by choice, that's you're going to have reap what you're sowing. But I think that the world has always been like this. It just may be more, I don't know. I mean, I feel like it increases. It gets more and more intense as time goes on.
We could go back and we were like, all right, let's look at Caligula. I mean, the guy married his horse or put it in the Senate. Yeah. I think he put the horse in the Senate, right? His horse. But he would he was full of perversions. You had popes that were full of, had orgies in the, right. But obviously, the stuff that we didn't have the publications that we have, and we didn't have the exposure, how do you whistleblow and get it out back then about those?
Yes. So I think that is probably part of it is like the amount of information that we're able to share on a massive scale, like across the board from so many different avenues that it's more in your face. Whereas before, probably to find it out, it would be more hidden. It wouldn't be as, the public wouldn't be as privy to what is actually happening. Whereas now it's like you almost get like just vomited on with information. And, you still have people that want to be cognitively dissonant and don't want to acknowledge that that's the case. But I do think that, just with the increase in technology and advancement of that it is more in your face and you're able to see it.
And then the flip side of that, it has become more prevalent in the sense that there was no way, like 20, 30 years ago, we'd see training book tours in children's libraries,
Right.
And that stuff.
Sex changes on a massive scale, even like.
Yeah. So the whole LGBTQ push to shoving that crap down our throats wouldn't have been tolerated.
Right.
In my generation earlier, but now it's being not just tolerated, it's
Glorified.
Yeah. So
especially but the sexualization of children with those books, they're just like, no, they need to have a choice and so that they can feel like welcome. Why are they talking about like touching a butthole or, this feels masturbation and things where it's like, why are you teaching kids this? But it's like, oh, how dare you say that? How dare you do that? Do what you want in your own time, but leave the freaking kids alone. You don't need to engage like that with them. And you don't have to tell your parents, it's a secret. It's like going back to the secrecy of stuff. Whereas before it was like, you don't want to do that. Like you want to be transparent. Like the parents have to know. Now it's just like, oh my gosh, if you're a parent and you want to know, they're like, oh, we're going to have to arrest you for that and take your child. Because that's
got to be some coming. Now, I'm not a parent, so I can't speak to, too much on this, but I'm just looking at common sense that there should be, well, it's sort of like if you're a kid, I was grew up on a portion of my life, my early life. I grew up on a farm. And so if you're a kid and you're growing up on a farm, you know all about the birds and the bees pretty,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
they're just part of life, right? And if it's, to me, if you just let children be children, but explain to them matter of factly, not either trying to hide it or glorify it, but this is the way, this is how little babies don't come from storks flying over the mountain,
Yeah.
you know. That,
The
right?
birds and the bees.
Yeah, it isn't through rainbows, right? This is how it's done. This is how little babies are made, and it's creation from God. God initiates this, and this is how it's created. And you just leave it at that, but let kids be kids. In the meantime, let them go out there and play.
Yeah.
And explain to them, you don't do these things until you get of a certain age, and so just right. You'll know when, your body will tell you. In the meantime, just go out there and, and have fun and, play ball.
Not anymore. No, it's
Watch
like,
that playing the doctor stuff. That can get you in trouble, right? So, I mean, if we just did it in a common sense, matter of fact way and didn't either hide it or glorify it in any sense, we wouldn't have half the problems we have right now going on.
I mean,
But then again, I was talking earlier too, and I'm sure you had your thoughts, and this is, with RFK joining the Trump campaign, as much as importance we can put on this, I think politically, it's a watershed event. Because I can't remember anything of that significance where someone of that caliber in one party,
joining
jumps
forces.
over, and
Yeah.
especially to someone as controversial as Trump is.
Right.
Right. There's become such a divide. But speaking to the health of children on that, I think it's brilliant, whether they mean it or not. But I think there's a lot of sincerity in it to make America healthy again, part specifically targeting the children. And, the amount of vaccines that they're giving coming out of the womb, and the foods that we eat, and the things that we drink, and the water itself, the toxin. They're even Robert F. Kennedy was talking about going to war on chemtrails, stopping, finding out what's going on there. These are very promising things if we can get to the election.
I know. I mean, and that at that point, it's like, will that happen? Yeah. But I think if RFK could change or help shift Trump's stance on the vaccines, then that would be great.
Part of it. I think
he was trying to get him to capitulate and say that he messed up, but he didn't do that. It was like, it wasn't even something that happened. And he's still, so hopefully though, he's going to, if he does, like, that you would push for that, because, when Elon and Trump were talking about more vaccines and faster vaccine, like, no.
Too. When they did that talk.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
pissed me off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why not talk about holistic medicines?
Right.
Not one word about that. Right. No, you're talking about giving more
genocide shots.
Yeah. And fast tracking the very people that are trying to kill us.
Right. When they should be slowing it down, if anything, like, we shouldn't have them at all. But like, if you were in the right mind of that and you perhaps still thought they were good, you would want all the testing necessary to make sure that they are, not just to be like, oh, screw it, do it. Just like, let's get it out. Doesn't matter if it's good or not. We'll find out along the way. And that's the thing, is people were being experimented on. Like, you are the trial. You're allowing them to experiment on you, and you don't even know what the effects are, because they don't. I mean, they do, but it's like, whatever. And that's why, though, when they were saying they work, I'm like, yes, they do, because they're killing people, just like you said, like they're supposed to. That's their job. So they're not lying. when they say that, but it's like you have to know who you're listening to. And it's just, but so hopefully that's what RFK could do with Trump. But again, would he like still kind of toe the line as well, just to, be in whatever position it is? It's like, it's more fearful to not stand up and say the truth and be honest than it is to go through all of the things that, come with that. It's better. It doesn't mean life is going to be totally easy, but it's going to be harder on you if you live in a lie. More people are going to die. More bad things are going to happen. And all when you could stop it and be like, no, I'm not. That's why I was just always like felt compelled to tell people like there's HIV in these. Whether or not you want to look at me like I'm crazy, I don't care, because at least I'm telling you and I did my part. Now it's up to you what you want to do with that information. But I can't like watch someone walk into a burning house that they're not sure is burning and be like, oh, it's fine. Go ahead. Or like, there's a cliff right over there. Just go off of it. It's fine. I would rather be like, hey, well, hold up. Wait a minute. Like, do you see that?
That
Whether or not they do.
Like, you might not want to walk in there with that lit cigarette.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, but I think a lot of people would rather be like, well, I don't want to say anything. I don't want to rock the boat. And it's like, we got to rock the boat. That's why Jesus flipped tables. You know what I mean? He's like,
yeah,
not today.
Yeah. It's why we're supposed to be out there gathering souls together because people.
Yes.
I think there's a very valid point we're talking about here, argument we're talking about, is how the RFK effect will affect the Trump stance on vaccines.
Right.
It's going to be an interesting blend to see how that meets, where that comes. Will Trump still turn a deaf ear and a blind eye?
I almost feel like it. I feel like he might, but then will RFK be complicit in that, or will he, try and do what's right?
Well, the one thing I can give him he does speak out. He doesn't seem to be afraid to speak out about things that are extremely controversial. I mean, when he came out and said, yeah, the CIA is complicit in the murder of my uncle and my father. Right. I mean, that's pretty strong.
Yeah.
It wasn't like there may be or they could be. He says they were complicit in the murder of my uncle. So that's strong. So if he can come out and say something like that, and if he can write the book about Anthony Fauci and damn the consequences, right? I give him credit for that. I don't agree with all his stances, but he certainly, when he gets into it, when he does find something that he is convinced on, he's not shy on letting it fly. So him being able, him holding the ground like that, hopefully carries over when he's talking to Trump about, because it's all about the medicine they're talking about. It's all about what are these vaccines doing to the kids?
Right.
Where are we with this autism coming from? So I think it's a very, very positive move. And if anything else, to give it for what it's worth, it's going to tramp down some of this question marks that people have had about Trump relating to the vaccine, that maybe he's starting to, come over and see the light.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping, because it's like, it's dangerous to not acknowledge that. Doesn't matter whatever reason, like, oh, we can't do it. Yeah, I can. It's a choice. And it's something that, would behoove him to make sure that he's,
Yeah, at least open up to the idea that possibly I was wrong on this, or we got it. Even if he made a statement like, well, we really need to start looking at these long-term effects or the short-term effects of these vaccines, something of that nature.
Right.
I mean, even just throw us a bone on that, just throw us a bone. But with that talk he had with Musk, I didn't see any bones being thrown at all. It was just the opposite. And everybody was praising that thing, like, oh, it was wonderful. And I was going, no, it was not. Yeah, there were some really good things that were said, but when they got that medical part and they started going, yeah, we need to fast track those vaccines. Man, you didn't want to be around me when that came out. The words were coming out of my mouth then. I was just, that pissed me off.
Yeah.
I mean, at least give a tip of the hat to holistic medicines. Maybe we should look at the ancient medicines. Maybe we should look at herbals. Maybe we should look at preventatives.
Right.
Nothing at it, not a peep at it. So that pissed me off. So that's where that goes.
Yeah,
And,
it's sad because it's deadly doing that.
But overall, again, I'm still giving it a like. Now, actually, that this is, we always look at these cause and effects. We're always looking at this, what's going to be the repercussion of, because you know how it is. I mean, we get good news now when we start getting, we start looking behind the curtain. Well, what is this going to do, right? And so having Kennedy jump onto there, and Tulsi Gabbard also is jumping on. I mean, a lot of good things happening, right? But it's like, all right, knowing that the deep state is going to use an equal amount of pushback on this, what are they going to do? So now I've gone from like 50-50 to see if we're going to have an election or if it's, put on pause or whatever, canceled, to like 75-25 that they'll throw something at us where we won't have it. So,
Right.
So I'm looking at possibly a cyber attack, and the collapse of the economy would be the thing to do it. I don't think the monkeypox thing is going to fly.
Doesn't seem like it. They're pretty, not in a very good job with that. Now there's the West Nile, though. They have many.
And then there's those mosquitoes. The story.
That's what I mean. The West, and they're spraying. That's Bill Gates. Thanks a lot.
Yeah. There's another guy that should not be alive. But according to the dumb Q people, he's already been. That's a dummy. That's a clone, and that's a fake Bill Gates. He's already been executed. So who the hell's releasing these mosquitoes and the fake Bill Gates?
Right. Even if they were dead, the corruption, the nefariousness still pursues. So whether it's really him or his double, that's still happening.
Yeah.
If it stopped, then you can be like, oh yeah, they're gone because this is not happening anymore.
Yeah.
No, they're amping it up, and it's like,
I don't know. It's crazy. At any rate, speaking about crazy, we got Digga Dan, and hopefully we get to hear Gracie sing again. But have you got any new repertoire there, Dan? Have you got her singing some new songs?
Well, she's at school. I'm hoping she learns something new at school. Now, Audra, I watched you yesterday at the San Diego council meeting. That was pretty cool. Yeah.
oh,
It's nice to see. It's nice to see you've got allies in the fight, but your council's a bunch of, I don't know.
they're bad.
It's so pathetic. The people that call in to speak at council, they give them however many minutes, and then, okay, you're done. Next caller. And it's like they don't even listen to the people.
Oh, no, they don't. And they have their mic button. So it's like, boom, they shoot it off right. I swear it's like a couple seconds before sometimes. But I mean, they're just really hot on that button to, next caller, please.
They're not at all public servants. I mean,
no, they're tyrants. I mean, they think that we are their servants. And it's like, no. I mean, that's why I even took advantage. It was the day before that, when the chair wasn't paying attention. So I was like, all right, well, I'm going to just talk about whatever and see how long it takes you to notice. And it was like, you get 2 minutes, and it was a minute and a half in. She's like, you're off topic. I was like, oh my gosh, hey, you're paying attention. Welcome back. I was wondering how long it would take, because I was talking to one of the other council members that's always on his phone, Joel. I'm like, Joel, what are you doing on your phone? He's like, quit texting me. I was like, I don't have your number, but I'm going to get it. And I'm going to start texting you when you're on the phone and be like, get off the phone and pay attention.
So it was some kind of housing issue. Explain to the folks what the housing issue going on now in San Diego is.
Well, I mean, the problem is that they can't ever create homes, and they want to create affordable homes, but they're never really doing that. And so they wanted to bring forward an ordinance that was talking about all these regulations to make sure that they can provide them, but they'll give people a way out by saying you can pay an in lieu fee if you're not going to have any affordable homes or units in whatever project that you're doing. So you can give us money if you don't want to do it. But all this stuff they're doing, like their climate action plan, they call it CAP, gets in the way of them even being able to build homes because they are bringing in VMTs, which is vehicle miles traveled, which is what they want to actually tax us on. Just to drive is like per vehicle miles traveled, but that's how they base all their stuff. Like we have to have like basically 15-minute city shenanigans. If you build it right here where the people can live and work and have, access to shops and doctors and schools, all within a really, a walkable distance and right by public transit, then they'll build stuff there. It's like, that there are people that are in dire straits and are leaving in droves because they need to have a home. And instead of you providing it, you're like getting in your own way by making all of these rules and regulations that are on a constant revolving door of change. Like, 1 week they've added this to it. And 1 week, then, they change this and you can change where it's zoned. It used to be, you can be in commercial and residential. Now they're kind of enmeshing them because they want people to like live above a shop and have it be that you're, then you're just, it's really sad because I'm like, if you really wanted to provide homes, you could and very easily.
Yeah. I stumbled across a news story that I played this morning. I'd like you to stick around and watch it. It's another council meeting, but in Seattle.
Okay.
And they're tugging on your heartstrings, okay, in Seattle. This child has tears streaming down her face, and it's on the news.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's you have to do something if you live in Seattle for this child here.
Oh my gosh.
Can you see the tears?
Yes.
Yes.
Preston, this camp behind me with the security guard under the canopy, it is on King County property, and King County is no longer allowing our cameras to go inside. Even though the asylum seekers, they wanted to show us around today. They are still desperate for help, although King County says it is doing what it can. People from Angola, Congo, and other countries in crisis came outside the fence line when they learned Como News is not allowed inside with recording equipment.
Thank you for your patience. I'd like to call the meeting back to order.
Many want their stories told, so much so they showed up at the King County Council chambers to plead with local leaders directly.
Please help me because I need to have a future and study. Please help us and give us a house.
Asylum seekers turned the public comment section of the meeting into heartbreaking testimonials. Not all know English.
You can see there are pregnant women. We can't sleep correctly because we don't have beds to sleep in.
This file footage taken prior to the camera ban was from a day when people were being assigned housing. And King County has come through with help. $10 million have been invested so far.
$10 million.
Asylum seekers, with priority often going to the most vulnerable and families with young children. But it still falls short of the need.
I came here to say that my family's not sleeping good. We're only sleeping in the tent.
These asylum seekers say they want to support themselves and their children, but are waiting on work permits and other documents, which can take months to process. The state legislature allocated $32 million to the effort, but contracts with service providers are still being worked out, while these families just try to survive.
How can you sleep at night when you know that our children are going hungry?
Well, a lot of that state money that's coming in, it is expected to make a difference sometime in September, even as the challenges mount by the day.
$32 million here, $10 million there. And, they said that ABC News in Seattle there, you got the tears streaming down the girl's face. You got
what's the first thought that comes to your mind when you hear all that?
Thanks, Kamala, for inviting these.
Mine is like, why don't you just go back to your own damn country, and we need that money for our citizens?
Yeah, but saying like, how can you sleep at night knowing that we don't have anything? Well, how can you sleep at night knowing you did that to your children and brought them over here thinking that everything is going to be hunky?
Yeah.
Why are you leaving that upon us to have it be our problem? You are responsible for your choices. Yeah, you were sold a lie, but you're also still responsible for choosing to come here. And if they knew, it's like, there's other people that aren't getting that. And you want to know how long they've been waiting? For decades. Get in line.
Yeah.
But instead, they're going to be at the front of the line.
Yeah. Well, I keep on saying one of the biggest, fastest growing businesses, if and when Trump should get in, will be bounty hunting. They start putting bounty hunting on illegals, I might just have a new job.
Right?
Seriously.
I mean,
just turn them in, you know. If the guy's got like he's a known terrorist, put $100,000 or $1 million reward on him. You know, if it's just your run of the mill illegal immigrant, $100 a head, and just start turning them in.
Yeah.
I mean, there's like so in the millions, like 55, 60 million. So it's like $100 a head would be good.
Yeah. Well, what the hell? The money's going to go to them anyway, so it'll go back to us.
I know.
I mean, this is
But that's the thing is that they're willing to go into those council meetings where the people in the public are just like, oh, it's a waste of my time. Like, yeah, but they are. So they're going to get what you want unless you stand up and fight for it.
Well, actually, I guarantee you the NGOs are guiding them there.
Oh, yeah.
They have, though, you know who they are, the Catholic Charities and all those other Soros-funded crap guys. And they are they know what to do. That's the way. That's why they are getting where they're getting, is because they know how to organize.
Yes. Because otherwise they wouldn't know who to go to. They don't know about city council. They're not like, we have that in our country.
Right. Yeah, they have that.
So I'm just going to go to these people and I know where to go. And so, but yeah, they're being directed 100%.
Then you have savvy entrepreneurs, maybe from Pakistan or India that, they came over here 20 years ago and they bought a hotel. Okay. So now, they have a problem where they got to house these people because they can't stay in tents. It rains outside and there's bugs and snakes. So the city makes a deal with a local hotel, Econo Lodge or Quality Inn or whatever. And if I'm the owner of the hotel, I love it because they gave the example in another news story, 42 rooms in the hotel, $70 a night. 100% occupancy for the next 56 nights. Okay. You're the hotel owner. And so that's $2,900 a day, $165,000 over the next 2 months. And I guarantee you, if I'm the owner of that hotel, I'm going to make some stipulations. Well, our housekeepers aren't going to change the beds, but maybe once a week, we'll empty the trash once a week, just set it outside. So, he's not paying his housekeepers as much as if you and I were staying there.
But he's charging the same to the people right. So, but they do the bare minimum. Yeah.
And that doesn't include breakfast, so you're going to have to pay more if you want breakfast. And, it's just unbelievable. See, you can see how the hotel owner loves it. And then the city loves it because it gets them out of the park for 2 months till they figure out something else to do. And then what they're doing is they have these sheds. You go to Home Depot and you buy a shed, for $1,000 or $2,000. Well, they have sheds that they're housing these people in like on church grounds. So you got the United Methodist Church. Okay, so they participate in a program. They set up 100 sheds on United Methodist Church property. So they're housing, 200 people on their property in these, $1,000 sheds. I guess they have a communal bathroom or something. And they're getting money from the federal government.
Oh, yeah. It is. I mean, it's mind boggling.
Well, again, it's the number one thing when I'm on the streets that I'm hearing people complain about. Right up there with the price of everything, the rising prices. And I think that this illegal alien thing has surpassed that, or it's at least as equal with people bitching about the economy, because they're, it goes on top of just the money not going to Americans, but the crime rate is increasing and the quality of life on the streets, of course, is just plummeted.
Yeah, there's a guy who was going to the park with a soccer ball and his son. They wanted to play soccer and they couldn't because all these tents are there. So, so you talk about quality of life. Yeah, they can't use the park anymore.
Right.
And then there was a sad story. It was the other day. I might be able to look it up with you guys talking, but I think it was just like she was either 83 or 93. I mean, she was old, really old. And I mean, just a little old lady. I mean, she was so like, you could tell she couldn't move very well. She was like sitting in her little sofa chair there, and she looked like she became part of it. The apartment complex gave her 3 days to move. She'd been there 20 years.
Wow.
You got to move. You got to get out of here. To make room for illegal aliens.
What city was this?
I'll look it up. You guys start talking. I'll try to look it up.
Okay, because I stumbled across a story that was kind of similar, but it involved guns and violence. Let me see. Oh, and Denver.
Yeah, the Venezuelan gangs.
Yeah.
Going to all the gun shops and.
Did you cover that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah, some of it. We didn't go into depth about it, but it's been on the news the past couple of days.
Okay, and then of course the Pope. You hear the Pope? I looked up statistics on Vatican immigration. Guess how many immigrants the Vatican has taken in over the last 5 years?
500,000.
All right, Uncle Sam. How many you think? How many migrants have the Vatican brought in the last 5 years, Michael?
I'm sorry. Yeah,
how many?
Zero.
Zero. Okay, well, the closest without going over wins. Michael DeBerry wins 115 over the last 5 years.
They brought into the Vatican.
That will, but it comes down from the top, from the Vatican, because they're telling all of their Catholics, churches and stuff, to do it through. They have all of the. I mean, it comes out, trickles down, and so it's pretty. Like there's a commission on Catholic bishops, and so they have it. We're like, we need to welcome migrants and have all these programs.
Yeah. So the Pope welcomes 23 people on average a year into the Vatican, and meanwhile here's Seattle. They had, I don't know, thousands.
500,000.
Yeah, you're funny. 115.
Well, I'm like that. I wouldn't even want to be in that Vatican. That thing is like, it's like hell coming out of the earth. I mean, I don't know how anybody can go and
Well, the only thing that popped to my mind, if they're taking any illegals at all, they must be doing it they need a sex orgy. They're obviously being abused.
Well, who knows? Because they can take the kids, you know what I mean? They're pedophiles. So it's like how many kids were in that little bunch, out of the 100, were most of them kids? Because it's pretty sad to see. And then people are like, well, that's the thing they do.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate to say it, but it's true. And it's like, why are they always filing for bankruptcy? It's not just in San Diego. It's like many of them. Oh, because of pedophilia. We have to pay our victims. Oh, okay. But let's keep giving them money. It's cool. And then they can do more and more, facilitate more of these kids. That's why when I go to the Ramada, where the Catholic Charities runs that hotel, I'm like, how can we be sure that these children are safe if you guys have engaged in that? And, you have to pay off your victims. Are you creating more victims here? And how do you know that those kids actually belong with those people? Are they really their children, or are they being trafficked through those people?
Well, you can see they're exploiting the kids and then bringing them into the council meeting.
Yeah, exactly. That's what's said. And they're crying. It's like those poor children, because it's like, of course you don't want them to suffer. But at the same time, it's like, why is it our fault that you're suffering?
Yeah.
I mean, it makes no sense. But as long as you can, make them believe that, and how can you sleep at night? It's like, well, how can you sleep at night knowing that you put your child in this position? You didn't plan to have I'm going to make sure I got money. We're going to make sure we can eat. It's more like, oh no, we're going to go there and get it. And if they don't give it to us, then we're going to condemn them for it. How dare you? And It's like, wait a minute. What about the choices you've made and your negligence in that? It's so.
Well, I thought it was a one-off, but check this out. I'm just doing the search. Elderly woman evicted from apartment. Look at all this. Elderly rentals are facing an epidemic of evictions. 94-year-old San Francisco woman fighting eviction after 8 decades in the same apartment. Elderly woman evicted from
There's
apartment.
a lot of them.
Yeah.
And they're old, like in their 90s.
Yeah, 96-year-old senior living resident facing eviction in California. This is 2 days ago. I wonder if this
Yeah,
is,
wow.
I wonder if this is her, because this is about that when I saw it. I wonder if this is the woman. I'll recognize her immediately. But, yep, that's her. Look at that.
Yeah, go ahead and play it.
96 years old, right? And she's being evicted from her. This is insanity.
Hope you just turn the sound off. Yeah.
Come on, you stupid thing. There we go.
There we go.
96-year-old Jean Jacques has lived at her apartment complex for over 20 years.
Wow, where's it
She's happy,
I can't hear it.
healthy, and full of life. She says she was unbothered living here until a few weeks ago when she received a 3-day eviction notice from the facility. In 2002, Jean said she signed a lifetime contract with the previous owner, California Nevada Methodist Homes, that said she could live here for the rest of her life. She paid a $250,000 down payment and was paying $5,000 a month in rent until her savings ran out.
I was shocked because the reason I moved into Forest Hill Manor was to be taken care of the rest of my life.
Back in 2022, Methodist Homes went bankrupt and sold the facility to Pacifica Senior Living, a for-profit company out of San Diego, with the clause that they would have to honor the lifetime contract like Jean's. But Jean and advocates for senior rights say the new owner is not doing that, and they want to evict Jean.
She's devoted all of her savings and money to this place. What would you do? I mean, can you see her out on the sidewalk? I don't think so. I mean, that's just insane to me. I don't care what the legal ramifications are here. This is morally unthinkable.
According to the eviction notice, Jean owes over $100,000 in late rent, and she must pay now or be evicted. KSBW reached out multiple times to Pacifica Senior Living for comment, but they did not get back to us. Alliance on Aging is helping Jean dispute this eviction and says they found an issue with the eviction notice. One being that the 3-day notice was not approved by the Community Care Licensing, the California Department of Social Services, which oversees these facilities. And the notice did not provide the tenant information on how to dispute the eviction.
You know, it's frustrating. You do get angry, knowing that it's an elderly person that was just told, you need to leave. You need to leave the home that you've been living here for 20 years. You got to go. And where is this person going to go?
For those fighting for Jean's well-being, they want the new owner to uphold the contract. Jean just wants to stay in her home.
They're not going. They'll have to bury me because I've no place to go. They've got all my money.
Yeah, talking to Jean, she's very alive, very well aware of the situation that's happening, and just wants to stay in her home that she's known for the last 20 years. Again, KSBW reached out multiple times to the company in charge of this facility and issuing this eviction notice. They did not get back to us, neither our calls or emails. Reporting live from Pacific Grove, Leslie Duarte, KSBW Action News.
Yeah, but if you're an illegal alien, you're going to get $150,000 for a down payment of another home, and they'll probably finance the thing for you with no interest and everything else.
Lucky ducks.
But a 93-year-old woman, I mean,
an American citizen.
Yeah. And look at the poor little old lady. And I mean, she couldn't survive a day on the street.
No.
93 years old. You look $5,000 a month.
Holy crap.
And after she paid $250,000.
Yep.
I mean, look, my parents bought a home in Florida. I can remember when we moved to Florida. The entire home was $6,800.
Was that the 1950s?
Yeah.
Yeah.
$6,800 for a home. It was a 2-bedroom home, carport.
In Florida.
about a mile away from the beach, right?
Which
right
is their
across the street from an arch. $6,800. That woman paid $250,000 as a down payment just to get in that place, and then $5,000 a month.
Like
what the?
Yeah.
Took advantage of her.
But
Least,
and
yeah.
then at 96 years old. And sorry, lady, you gotta get out of here. 3 days notice.
That's ridiculous. There's got to be landlord-tenant law that,
Well, I know here in Louisiana, you have to give a 30-day notice.
Right. But even that, I mean, what the hell is she going to do?
But why
Well,
not?
and because they're using it as she's not paid her rent. That's why they can do that.
Then why not claim squatters' rights?
Yeah, I mean, she would have, to do other things, but they're coming at it like, oh, you're not paying your rent, so we're going to have to evict you unless you can pay it within 3 days.
Yeah.
Like knowing that she's not going to be able
totally
to.
illegal. Well, here in Louisiana, no matter what happens, you have to give 30 days notice unless there's some, in mitigating as circumstances. But that, I mean, and this is the conundrum here of please help these poor little immigrant children that they need help. They didn't live in tents, these poor little babies, and screw you, grandma, go die somewhere.
Yeah.
I mean, so they care at one end and don't at the other. It's like, wait a second, what are you doing here? If you really care about people, then you should care much about this 96-year-old lady. You should do that child in another country.
The other crazy story, Uncle Sam, is look at this. Okay, so the same news network channel that had the story with the girl crying because she doesn't have a house. Okay, the same news channel, same day has this: U.S. West Coast to intensify killing of invasive owls to protect the native species. So you've got a federal government program that wants to kill 450,000 barred owls in Oregon, California, and Washington because these barred owls are stepping on the turf of the spotted owls. And so we have to kill them.
Wow.
And the U.S. wildlife officials are killing these things. They're covering 23,000 square miles, California, Oregon, Washington, U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, and they're going to go in and kill these owls. That's the plan. At what cost? I have no idea. They don't talk about cost in the article. But I said, okay, well, why don't they try that with the illegals, right? You just kill them, right? Or why don't they do the treatment for the illegals with the owls? Give them free health care, give them free housing, and welcome them in. You got liberal people on in these areas, and they got two issues they're addressing. They're addressing the illegal immigrant issue with free hotel rooms, free sheds, free shacks, free health care, all that. And then the owls, well, they're killing them. So it's kind of like hypocrisy.
Yeah. And calling them an invasion, right? Like they're invasive.
Right.
What do you think this is? Like, it's crazy.
Exactly.
Because on one hand, they'll acknowledge that for those, but then it's like, oh, no, we need to help these people. How dare us? Like, we should be giving them everything.
Maybe we should put wings on
they're
the
lucky they have any of those resources.
Let's put wings on the illegals coming over and call them, invasive species and see if we can get rid of them that way.
Just
crazy,
unbelievable. Why don't you let God handle it, right? I mean, they're out in the woods, so who gives a damn if they're taking over the spotted owl and you've got barred owls? It's like, these people are ridiculous.
Well, there is something to be said about some species coming in if you're bringing in, an invasive species from a foreign country, because they do that. I mean, if you've ever come across the border at any time, they was ask you bringing back any plants or any animals with you that you purchased over there, and because we don't want some poisonous snakes coming in or something, which they come in anyway. But
you mean like hepatitis or monkeypox, stuff like
that?
Oh my gosh.
No, they don't matter. They don't matter either. I mean, again, that all the more hypocrisy. They'll when you come in legally, of course, they ask you all these questions and maybe even quarantine you. I mean, Ellis Island, they give you a physical exam right there when Ellis Island was in play. And if, you look like you had anything wrong with you, you were either quarantined or you were shipped back to where you came from. But we get an open border now. You can have wet leprosy and walk into this country and it wouldn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
Insanity. We're in insanity.
Crazy.
Anyway, I don't know. Well, you'd almost sit around and take up your entire show, Dan. So don't just tell us when to go, I mean,
well,
I have to
go ahead. You have to what?
I was going to say, so at 11, I have an interview I've got to do, but whatever.
What channel?
It's going to be on Eye of the Storm and my ex, but it'll be with Doug Gibbs. He's Mr. Constitution. We're going to talk about Kamala's ineligibility. And Deacon knew him. He was working with Deacon on that.
And Doug is here on Patriot Soapbox on Sunday evenings. Did you know that?
That's right.
Yeah, 6 o'clock.
I did
Eastern.
know that, and then I forgot.
Yeah, 6 o'clock Eastern time on Sunday. I don't know what that is your time. Maybe like 3. Yeah. He's one of my favorites here. Him and Alan. They give you the constitutional angle on everything. They do wackadoodle news, which is really a lot of fun because they'll bring you goofball stories, and it's like what?
They're full of knowledge.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'll look forward to seeing that.
Yeah.
All right. Tell them Digga Dan said hello.
I will.
Yeah.
Like how funny because I wouldn't have known that. I don't know why I forgot that he was on here. I swear.
And I got to remind you that, you're usually busy. It would be 2 o'clock your time on Mondays. But if you're not, you get that open door coming on when I'm on.
Are you talking to me?
2 o'clock your time on Mondays.
Okay.
Not doing anything. I get that slot there for 2 hours.
Okay.
If you ever want to drop in, have something to say, you get that open door. All right, Dan.
Have fun.
All right. Sure will.
Okay. See you next week.
Thank
you guys
for showing up. Enjoy, Dan. It always is enjoyable. And God bless you. Pray for me. It's Memorial or Labor Day weekend. I'll be out on the streets, weather permitting, and battling the battle. All right. God bless you. I love you. See you on the streets.
All right. We'll see you too later. All right. Hey, well, good afternoon, folks. Yeah, Digga Dan, the Digga Dan sliding in here. And I've got this, let's see, I got a couple of stories here popping in. Boy, it's a smorgasbord today. What do I pick?